Build compelling real-time apps quickly and scale them globally with the PubNub real-time network. Only PubNub delivers the core building blocks needed for any real-time application. Find out for yourself by signing up for free today. Visit pubnub.com. Welcome to This Week in Location-Based Marketing, the most trusted podcast dedicated to the new business of location. It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing. This is episode number 147. We're recording this live way too damn early on Saturday morning. That's September 14th, 2013. My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. With me, as always,
Asif Khan from the Location Based Marketing Association, actually in Toronto for a change, but that doesn't last for long. I leave tomorrow again. So
no weekend, no rest for the weary, that's for sure.
No.
Well, we're doing this on Saturday morning because we just figured we couldn't do this on Friday the 13th. Too many things would have gone wrong. And so we're doing this bright and early on Saturday morning. But we need to bring you the news. 6 great stories. I got an app of the week. We got Chuck Martin doing his mobile minute. Got some amazing resource, which is the results of a Pew research study on location-based marketing. We always wait for these research studies to come out.
Yes.
But before we jump into any of this kind of stuff, Asif, traveling last week, what were you up to last week? What launched for the Location-Based Marketing Association?
We had the newest chapter in Dallas with a phenomenal launch. Great crowd out at the marketing arm, an agency, big agency that hosted it, and it was awesome, man. We had JCPenney and 7-Eleven and American Airlines and all these folks on the panel, and even like good brands in the crowd too. Neiman Marcus was out and others, so it was cool. And good discussion. One of the guys from Indoor Atlas was there as well in the crowd, and he happens to be based in Dallas, so we were talking about their stuff, and it was just a good vibe, good crowd, and lots to build on there, and just fun times, man.
So what's up for you guys now?
And then I shot over to Austin,
and
we had the BIA Kelsey event was going on, so I was catching up with some folks there, and local market launch, and a few others, but now we've got we're in the middle of the season now, or I guess it's still at the start of the season. But there's September 25th in Atlanta. LBMA Atlanta is having an event, so if you're there, get out to that. And then we launch. We have our New York chapter on October the 2nd, Toronto on October the 3rd. So lots going on. We're covering all kinds of different things. In New York, we're talking about fashion and location and retailers like Ralph Lauren and folks like that. And in Toronto, we're talking about NFC and digital screens and mobile and how all those things are coming together. So lots going on, man. Lots going on.
Holy cow. Yeah, and this is, you'd like to think that this is just the middle, but it's really just the beginning. It
is.
Yeah. Don't kid yourself, man. Yeah.
I think literally I'm on the road for at least a couple days every week from now till the first week in November.
Yeah, that's just too much. It's just too much.
Yeah,
that's what it takes, though, folks. That is exactly what it takes. If you're not willing to get on an airplane, don't start anything.
Yeah, and I'm like on Thursday. I'm going to be in Glasgow this week, and also in Cologne, Germany for the App Days thing. But I'm meeting up with these guys in Glasgow called Base Warp. They're actually Edinburgh based and Helsinki based, dual headquarters. But these guys are doing like some crazy stuff. I was sharing it with you last week, I think, about what they're doing. Kind of like broadcaster spun, reinvented, I like it.
So we're gonna have to get a full debrief from you whenever we connect next for this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
What a trip! What a week!
Crazy times, man.
Well, I see. Right. We should bring up. I know that you're on the board of Ramp, Retail Ramp, which is a twice a year conference that targets obviously retail and certainly the disruptive factors of mobile and location have really had an impact on retail. So Ramp has filled this void. But on September 6th, so a week ago, Melissa Morrissey, who is I guess the founder of Ramp and the coordinator and the main person behind Ramp, suddenly passed away from a heart attack. And so we wanted to make sure that we recognize that in her contributions to the industry in the retail space, and certainly about educating the retailers about what's going on with location and having you a part of that. But what a shock and saddened,
Yeah.
and our condolences go out to her entire family and obviously the team at Ramp. And but the conference is still going, right?
Conference is still going. In fact, a bunch of us on the board, Eric McMillan, myself, and Jonathan Stevens from JetBlue.
Love Jonathan.
And, Christina Garcia from Office Depot and such, Staples, and all those guys are stepping up, and we're just rolling up the sleeves and making sure this thing comes off. That's what Melissa would want, and it's really sad. It was shocking to a lot of us. I mean, I got a call, and I think it was on Saturday afternoon last week, and from a guy that I normally only talk to you about business, and to get a call in the middle of the weekend in the afternoon, and to hear that Melissa was gone, it was like, wow, just a shock to all of us in the industry. So she'll be missed. She had so much energy, and we just want this thing to come off and be a big success in her memory.
Yeah, 42 years old, man. Tells you, just embrace what you've got, the time that you've got, and our condolences we feel for Melissa's family and everybody that's associated with her. So, Melissa Morrissey, what a sad story. But now it's up to you to make sure that her legacy shines bright with the upcoming Ramp conference. So,
yeah,
I don't know how to segue out of that. We could have a moment of silence, but I'm going to jump into this. We've got six great stories, and there's such a theme that happened as a result of what's going on. Certainly, we're not even going to talk about the new iOS version that's coming out this week. We're not even going to talk about the iPhone announcement, the two iPhones. But there are some technologies that are inside of the iPhone, the new operating system, that we are going to talk about inadvertently as a result of some of those stories here. So we're going to talk a lot about commerce, a lot about transactions, location, obviously. But before I do that, I definitely want to bring up the fact that I've got this great little app, and I'm kind of torn by this app because I use Moves, which is Sampo Karjalainen's company based out of Finland, and it is a foot tracker app, right? Basically, it's an odometer or speedometer or whatever you want to call it, and it is it's a cool app, and I use it for a couple of things. One, to track steps, sure. But the second one is to remember where I've been, which is one of the things that we always talk. As we get older, things get foggy. I have to remember where I was.
Right.
I used to use Foursquare for that. Then I started using Moves, and I think I'll still continue to use Moves because I love that application. It's simple. But a new app that just came out, and the reason I'm torn is because it's called Rove. And Rove was the company that I ran and bled for 4 years. And, I loved the company. Totally, completely different than this Rove, but the name of this app is called Rove. It's by Zetrip, and it is exactly what we were talking about. All its purpose is to remember where you've been. So same as Moves, you launch it once, and then it just basically tracks you. It tracks you at every step. It knows how much, whether you're driving, whether you're sitting still, or whether you're walking or running. It's got these beautiful little maps that you see on the screen right now, which show you exactly where you've been, the distances you've traveled, and it's beautiful, and it shows you during the how you spend your day. And if you scroll up and down, it gives you the time of where you were and when you were doing it, and it is a beautifully designed app. And if you don't mind being tracked all the time, you don't have to sign in, but you caveat. Anytime you're tracked by anything and you ask them to assemble all of that information, you are being tracked. There's no such thing as anonymous data here for this thing. So it's not for the faint of heart. But if you're if you're a guy like me who wants to remember where I've been and when I was there, this is an app that is very, very, very pretty. It's just so well done, designed exceptionally well. And you can find that at roveapp.com, ROVE app.com. You can download it from the App Store, and it's free. But remember, because it's free, you are the product. I can't tell you enough that this is all about clearly about tracking you. So take a look at Zetrip, Rove by Zetrip. You can go to roveapp.com. That's my app pick. Something that's fascinated me all week, and it's a beautiful application. So go and take a look at it. It hasn't replaced Moves. Don't worry, Sampo. And Sampo just sent me a note that it said that For those Android folks that are waiting and waiting and waiting for Moves, it is launching in the next couple of weeks. So you will be able to use Moves for Android, and they're very excited about that. So those are two options right there: Rove at roveapp.com or movesapp.com. So go and take a look at both of those. But that's my pick.
All right.
Rove.
Awesome.
All right, into the stories. Six stories. We don't have a guest this week, but we've got a mobile minute by Chuck Martin that is going to talk about the cool versus creepy scale in mobile shopping, which fits really well into the conversations we're going to be having over these 6 stories. We're going to do that midway through. Why don't you kick things off, Asif? Placecast.
Yeah, Placecast, a company we've talked about on and off over the last, 2 years. It's like 2 years we've been doing this, Rob. Like more than that, right? Like. Yeah.
Almost into 3 years, right?
3 years, man. We're almost at 3. Anyways,
you are the second longest. Asif, you are the second longest relationship I've ever had. Let's think about that.
How do we celebrate that, Rob?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's kind of creepy. Okay, carry on.
Anyways, we've talked about these guys a lot and the success they've had with geo-targeted SMS, empowering carriers. AT&T Shop Alerts program is backed by Placecast Technology, O2, and in the UK and others. And that's been great for them. They've made they made good success with that. We hear unofficially. I kind of could say unofficially, I guess, but I'll say unofficially about to launch in Canada as well with Rogers. So we'll see that in a few weeks. But the news this week is they've launched something called PlaceAd, which is nothing to do with geo-targeted SMS. This is demand-side, mobile ad network integration. And the surprising thing for me, somewhat, is I was talking to Alistair, the CEO, Alistair Goodman, and about a month ago, and he was kind of alluding to the fact that they were going here. But what I didn't realize is that this is where Placecast started originally. Like if you go back like 10 years or however long this company's been around now, they were first doing this kind of mobile location based in-app ad, not geo-targeted SMS at all. And then kind of dropped it in favor of going after the geofencing stuff. But now in the world as it's evolving and all the players and all the competition, you sort of have to be all things to all people, right? So they're in both businesses now.
Placecast, geofencing for me is always a challenge, right? And you can see this getting harder and harder and harder to compete because it's so easy to do and so many players can get into that space. So they have billions of points of data right now, and this really does make sense. And why not own that channel, own the location, and then own the channel and be able to integrate with they're integrating with MoPub and Pubmatic and Smarto. Yep. So to be able to bring their ads and then all of their customers into this, and all 3 of those guys. They say that they have who are they? They have Bet Networks. They have Songza, MyFitnessPal, MG,
Flickster,
Mofo, so MSNBC, Handmark, EA. So when you start to think about all of those, it makes sense to own that channel, right? That whole channel, start to finish. And I think that this is interesting. I mean, Microsoft buying Nokia last week, we talked about that as well. Is on the hardware side, owning your stack, and that's what I think that Placecast is doing. They're trying to own their stack, and that makes sense. If they have access to the customer, push them the right things. And this is a bigger market, I think, than the geofencing space. Logical.
Yeah, this is a great move. I think this is what they need to do. They need to widen the scope, and that horizontal kind of integration across the industry makes a lot of sense. And having that ability to serve both sides, it's going to serve them well. So kudos to Alistair and the rest of the team over there.
Yeah, and the gorilla is Google, right?
Yes.
So it's a big battle, but as long as these guys, I think a lot of these small, we've talked about this for 3 years now, Steve, about consolidation, and at some point you're going to have to, you can't stand alone as small independent little companies, little ad networks, in order to be able to battle Google. And then Facebook is emerging in that space, obviously in mobile as well, when they get their act together. And I think that's got us spur these kind of movements very clearly, very quickly. So very cool. Placecast. You go to placecast.net/placead. placecast.net/place ad, and you will find a little bit more information about what they're doing, and even be able to sign up. And I guess that they're going to go with a couple of their customers to test this out first and gradually roll this out. So good on Alistair. Congratulations. Nice move.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, inventory, accuracy, and analytics all coming together. I love it.
There's the tag right there. All right, our second story. What are the things that Google has done exceptionally well? It seems like we'll talk about Google a lot today, but Google has done very, very well is local search, right?
Yep.
Well before anybody else did this. Like they were, we talked about this a number of months ago about them, basically indexing menus in Manhattan, right? Around Times Square from the restaurants in there, indexing that for local search. And they've obviously got, they've basically taken a photo of every street on the planet and space and the bottom of the ocean and the moon. And these guys Google got it. Google gets this local search. And they get that mix between local and mobile, where you're standing in the middle of somewhere and you're doing a search, and contextual relevance is so important at search at that point compared to your desktop. And so now Bing, finally, I'm not saying that Bing's local search isn't good. It's just not as prominent as Google's. But they partner with a local corporation to get richer data aggregated from a local corporation has 75,000 locations, brand retailers, and they're integrating that into Bing search in order to be able to give that more local feel, local contextual relevance when it comes to Bing searches. And I think that this is a long time coming. Because Google is so far ahead of everybody else when it comes to indexing every moment of every place on the planet.
Yeah, and the key here is Google in particular does a really good job around online retail, e-commerce, and bringing that data. This deal that Bing's done with Local Corp, Local Corp has the database is called Krillion, Krillion, like million with a K. And this is about real-time product inventory data, tied into online, search. And there's some big brands that these guys track. I mean, they've got Best Buy and Costco and Home Depot and all these guys in their database. And so having real-time data about availability of product when you're doing search, because we all know what happens. Like we all start our product, acquisition cycle online. We search first, and then we go to a store, right? So if we can actually know whether the store has that thing beforehand. Actually, one of the things I heard, in conversations at the Kelsey event, which is Kelsey is all about local search and directories, that conference in Austin this week, I was talking to a guy, and he's in the call analytics business, pay-per call business. And he said to me, the reason that we're so relevant and we're making money is because what happens, you're looking for that drill at Home Depot, and we're busy people. We don't want to drive to Home Depot only to find out that the drill's not available, it's out of stock, right? So if you can search and figure that out, without having to make that drive, or if you can click to call and get connected to the store and talk to somebody and hear whether that product's there or not, either way, it's about time, right? It's about efficiency. So I love this deal. It's great. And Local Corp, Krillion database, I mean, these guys have a patent that could be quite obstructive to Google and others. So around this kind of data presentation,
it's so important for all of those reasons. And the biggest thing that I look at here is that it's an aggressive play. And if it's one thing to have localized search that has directions, or you can place ads on it. It's another thing to drive revenue to the retailers and to the brands. And I think that's one of the key things. You'll create a deeper relationship with anybody if you help them help them sell their product. And I think that's what this is definitely all about. And I use Future Shop or Best Buy. Their website has that great service, right? Which is, they were one of the first companies to do buy online and then pick up in the store. But inventory is so important. The ability to produce that locally, I think, is key. There is a cycle, and Chuck Martin talks about it in his book, about the cycle, that shopping cycle that is always, always on. You start at your desktop and it doesn't end until you have the product in your hand. So just because somebody walks in your store doesn't mean that they've made the decision to buy from you. They've made the decision to buy the product, but now there's an entire, there's a million things that can go wrong between the decision to buy the product in your store and them actually paying for it in your store. And those variables are what, certainly what something like this partnership hopes to, smooth out, we'll say, or helps to avoid. So this is a big deal. Bing partnering with Local Corp, 75,000 locations, product inventory, man, that's great.
Awesome.
That's great. All right, third story here. This is, I freaking love this story. I love, the fascination and the love that people have for their minis. And my wife looks over at the Mini when she drives by and she's like, "Oh, Mini." I don't know what it is, right? They're cute.
I don't know, Rob. I think you're going to have to buy her one, no?
No. My kids want one. And it's like, "Dad, can I drive that? Because it's so small."
Well, and that four-door one's kind of interesting now,
It
too,
is.
right?
Convertibles. So here we are.
Yeah.
So talk about this. This is the Here's to You campaign in London. This is a perfect example of, of gelling a brand, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Mini's been going after, this kind of brand message that, Mini drivers are not normal. Like, they're fun, they're different, they're off the wall, they're, and Volkswagen in general is kind of going after that. I mean, when they launched the new, the new Bug, the redesign, it was all about, looking more aggressive, and the marketing message should be more aggressive as well. It's not your chick car anymore. It's we're all about being off the wall, and this kind of campaign is exactly that. So this is JC Decaux, the big digital out of home and billboard company in the UK. There has a digital screens along Cromwell Road gateway. There it's called. And so a bunch of screens. And so what they're doing is they've got these spotters out there, Mini drivers that they've hired as spotters, that as you drive along this road, if you're driving a Mini, they snap a photo of you, driving your Mini. And then you're progressing along the road, and you come up to one of these giant digital screens. And within 30 seconds, they've taken that photo content of you and your Mini, and they salute you by presenting that on the digital screen. Like, you're seeing yourself in your car, in your Mini, looking cool, on this digital screen as you come up to it. So that's just what engaging with fans of your brand. I mean, that makes sense, right? And highly hyper local.
I think it's amazing, and then. I mean, the fact that they did this, that they're just doing this. Somebody has the ability to take an asset. They see the car driving, they take a picture, or they put a message up on the board. But then I think the second part of this is the coolest part, is that they basically pull you over. They say, "Hey, how would you like a coffee and a muffin? How would you like this? How would you like this?" And then there's people as they're driving past like gas stations, various gas stations that were participating in it. There are people like say, "Hey, Mini, Mini, Mini," with signs coming up and driving them in and giving away free stuff.
Yeah,
just to Mini owners.
Just to Mini owners.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Elitism.
This is the new loyalty program.
It's
physical, it's real, and it's with like human interaction.
These kind of things really I love the fact that they can literally hijack all these big screens like that and target a message to you, the driver down the street, and I think that it makes it so unique. And you know what, I think back to the days of the Mac, right? The early days of the Mac, where you didn't see a lot of them in the wild, and you could actually target a Mac user, obviously because of the branding on the back of the laptops. But it's the same thing here with Minis, right? They're one in every 20 or one in every 100 cars on the road. You can do this, and you create a good buzz. But you can't do that with a Ford, right? Because it's 6 out of 10 cars on the road are Fords now, or whatever it is. Yeah. So this is I just wish Mazda.
Toyota.
Yeah, I just wish Mazda, because that's what I drive. They would do something like this, because I've been a loyal Mazda guy for my whole life, and.
We all know you want a free pastry, Rob.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, throw me a bone here, Mazda. Well, that's cool. Like, so Mini gets it, and it's one thing to, when you sell this kind of elitism, I think that this really does two things. It creates brand loyalty beyond anything that you could possibly do before that, and it creates brand envy for those of us who don't drive these minis, right? Like, what are we missing? What are we missing here?
Yeah.
Who's so cool? Not us, the Mazda drivers. So that's very, very cool. All right, those are the first three stories. What we're going to do is we're going to jump into a mobile minute here with Chuck Martin. He's coined something called the cool versus creepy scale in mobile shopping and mobile commerce. Very unique approach and some good lessons here. It's only about a minute and a half, but it's good lessons about you as the retailer, you as the merchant, and what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to leveraging location. And I'll let Chuck explain this on our mobile minute. Just a reminder, if you're interested in these things, this is actually a preview of one that's coming up this week. If you're interested in subscribing to the mobile minute, you can do that through iTunes or wherever good podcasts are sold these days for free. So here is Chuck Martin with our mobile minute on the cool versus creepy scale in mobile commerce. It's time for another mobile minute. Chuck, what is this that you've created? The cool versus creepy scale. What is it? Why did you do it? Why did you build it?
Well, in my book, the research I did for mobile influence, I came across a lot of things that people say, wow, that's really creepy. And other people say, wow, that's really cool. Different things, of course. So I created the cool versus creepy scale for mobile commerce. And what it is, it's really a 5-step scale. And what we caution marketers is make sure that you're on one end, not the other end. For example, cool would be perfectly targeted information based on location from a trusted brand, clear value provided, such as interactive content or live feedback, include instant gratification like a discount or an additional bonus offer. That would be cool. The other extreme would be creepy. That would be random or pushy information provided totally unexpected based on where someone is, so that someone getting this could think, wow, somebody's looking over my shoulder. How do they know this about me? This is really creepy. And what marketers should be careful of is look at the demographic, because one person may think something is creepy, another person may think that's cool. So it really depends on the demographic.
Do retailers have the right that as soon as a consumer walks in their store, does that lessen the creepiness if they start pushing things towards them based on their location?
Well, it depends on the person. It depends on what they're pushing. The tracking of consumers, which we're going to talk about for a lot in future shows based on location, is getting really precise and really good. And the question for a marketer is, what can they do versus what should they do? And it really, they should be leaning towards the what should they do versus what they could do.
Chuck Martin, ladies and gentlemen, the cool versus creepy scale. Thanks, Chuck, for letting us use that on This Week in Location-Based Marketing. And for more, obviously, you can go to untether.tv. Got like 165 of those up there now, so go and enjoy those. They're good. They're really good. And I'm not saying that because I'm on them, but they're really good. All right, back to the news. Our fourth story. This company that came out of TechCrunch Disrupt this week, they made an announcement. I think this is a big story because we start at the very top. Apple announced iOS 7. Part of iOS 7 is something called iBeacon, which allows people, companies, app makers to be able to leverage, and hardware makers to be able to leverage the device and the location of the device to do stuff, push offers, pay, all of these different things that NFC was supposed to be able to do. This is using BLE, which is low energy Bluetooth. Yep. And it's a service through the iPhone called iBeacon. So Estimote came out of TechCrunch Disrupt, and they are leveraging Apple iBeacon, now that this is going to be coming out this week, with something called, this is where it gets just terrible, right? So beacons. They're beacons. They're basically motes. Everything's going to be a beacon. Our sixth story talks about beacon as well, right? With PayPal. But so it basically, for $99, you can get 3 of these beacons, these motes that you put in your store, and it communicates very, very, very closely with your phone, and can tailor content, tailor messaging, can allow you to do check out, to buy the product, to do anything you want with this thing, and it's all done over low energy Bluetooth, and they transmitted the same kind of signal as Wi-Fi, and they basically communicate with whatever smartphone, whether it's kind of 4 inches away or up to 30 feet away. So this is basically blanketing a store with hardware that enables anything you can think about to communicate with the phone, provided that there's permission and provided that the application is actually enabled for it. So, Estimote also has an SDK that allows quick integration into your applications. This is a brand new world.
Jacob Kryzak, I'm not sure how you say his last name, but anyways, he's one of the founders of this company, and he describes it as creating an OS for the physical world.
Yeah, well done.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
An OS for the physical world. This space, this indoor location, micro location space is crazy hot, man.
Yes.
And Apple is just making it, making their stake in it now, and they're going to own a big piece of this. And what I like about this is up until now, for the most part, location indoor has been, focused on fairly large areas, right? I mean, we 30 feet, as you describe, maybe down to, 10 feet, something like that. But this stuff is like,
4 inches.
Is inches, right?
Yeah.
This is inches. And I was, the Estimote, this is one approach to it. The guys from Brick Trends that down in Austin, I was meeting with Eric McMillan, his team, and I saw something, they're about to kind of rebrand a little bit, and their device is very, very similar to this as well. And they're focusing this on shelf applications, right? So, I mean, like having these little beacons actually on a shelf, and being able to drive consumer engagement, and couponing and things like that at the shelf level, right? I mean, so the interesting thing about that is that it's not, it creates this opportunity now where you don't have to necessarily look for that opt-in, on the app or the whatever, and then send a coupon to the phone when the consumer's there, and have that potential for annoyance, even though they opted in. If this is at the shelf level, and people know as they approach the cereal aisle that if they want the coupon, they can just tap or do something, right? Within the as you say, the 2 inches. And then they can it's like retrieving the coupon that they want when they want it, like a demand side again, as opposed to, me just sending them something, because that for me is the real potential of this kind of stuff. It's about giving that consumer the option. I mean, it's like it's no different than the manual way. Like you walk in through the grocery aisle and you see the sticky pad with the coupons there, and you rip off the one that you want because you want it, right? But if I can just do that and get it to my mobile device, in the digital framework when I want it, I think that makes a lot of sense to me.
I think about this a lot. The example that they use on their website, Estimote uses on their website, which is, you walk into a store and you love a pair of jeans, and then it kind of does a complimentary thing that says, oh, what goes really well with these jeans is this shirt, and then you walk out and you buy it, right?
Yeah.
But I think, from a grocery standpoint and a shelf standpoint, is that I'm a dad, 2 kids, very little amount of time. I want to make sure that my kids eat well. I eat well. So there's an opportunity for grocers to do that as well, right? Is that, I'm interested in, I got chicken. All right, now I'm looking for something that is quick. I've got 20 minutes. So you can have a guided tour through these using these kind of iBeacon, Estimote kind of combinations. And I think that, and to the shelf level, I think is very important. I always worry about this, and I'm a technology lover, right? I mean, look, I'm gadgeted up. I got everything that I want, and I play with this technology all the time. I'm not afraid to give away some of me to be able to get a little bit of benefit. But the question I have is the average consumer ready for this? Whatever all of these technologies has to be, it has to be easier, as you said, than ripping off that coupon that's attached to the front, right, of the on the shelf, or whatever, or it has to override my wife, who is saying, that is the shirt you should wear, not that one, right? So
exactly,
right, it has to be that simple, and I think that's the challenge here. We don't want to build technology just for technology's sake. We want it to serve a purpose that is easier than doing it the way we're doing it right now. That's all, right? And we're going to be playing with this. This is by no means, we're not even at the start. We look at the start as the epicenter, right? The core. This is the fringe, the stuff that Estimote and these guys are doing right now. It's the fringe. It hasn't even begun.
Long way to go.
Because there's a study that came out in 2017. somewhere, we talk about the Internet of Things, right? And this pervasive computing world. And they say that this study is by 2017, like 88% of all mobile devices, that's Internet of Things, those are, motes or anything like that, are still going to be smartphones, right? So this world of sensors that we live in, or that people have been promising us, is still far away, far, far, far away. We're still testing. And that's the thing that we always, these stories, Estimote and all these stories that we talk about around this space are years out before they actually prove their value and their worth. But right now is where companies are building that. And we're witnessing the development of the next generation of companies because of this technology. That's what's so cool about this stuff, whether it's Estimote or anybody. But this is, this is why it's, I love talking about this stuff, because we're still theorizing about it. We haven't figured it out yet. So.
Awesome.
All right, Estimote. If you go to estimote.com, estimote.com, you can find out a bit more information. And if you are interested, just do a search for Apple iBeacon. It'll give you a lot of information. You go to the Apple website to get an overview of what that means, and go and build a business around it. Because I think, certainly, I asked Jack Martin this in one of our mobile minutes that are coming up. Does this kill NFC, right? And his argument is, well, there are 500 million devices that are going to be NFC enabled. Don't worry, NFC is going to be fine. But a lot of competing technologies and low energy Bluetooth.
And we called it like last week, right? We said Apple is not going to do it.
No, there's no way. And they never will, right? Yeah. Because with iBeacon and iTunes,
it's done. They don't need it.
They got the biggest commerce platform. There's almost 600 million iOS devices out there now. Like, it's crazy. So, a good portion of those, I think it's 380 million have credit cards attached to them. There's your commerce platform. So exactly. iBeacon is going to be big, and Estimote is right in the middle of that. So knew it was going to be a big story. Estimote with iBeacon. Take a look at that. And if you want to pre-order, get on that right now, because there's 3 of them you get a pack of 3 for $99 if you want to test this out. Oh, all right. 5th story, Asif. I'm going to shut up for a minute.
5th story comes from our good friends Coca-Cola down in Atlanta. If you go down to Atlanta and if you're just visiting, go to the world of Coca-Cola, right? It's what every tourist in Atlanta should do. And they launched this thing, which it's called the Positivity Wall, or Live Positively wall, which is this 22-foot wall, as you walk into the building. So this huge, and it's basically a giant digital screen, but the screen is broken into all these sections that are interactive. And so it was created by a group called Second Story Interactive Studios that put this thing together. And basically what happens is as you approach the wall, it senses presence, and these little kind of effervescent Coke bubble things pop up with live video. And multiple, dozens of people can interact with sections of the wall at the same time, seeing different content. And so it's a giant map of the world. And you're basically seeing, stories of people, that are in, rough situations, let's just say, around the world, and bringing attention to some of these issues. And I just think it's a great way to show that Coke is a global company, that they're influencing the lives of people around the world, and that visitors to Coca-Cola World can experience that through this kind of thing. I think this is really cool stuff.
Pretty cool. And as long as it brings attention to the right things and make sure that everybody understands what's going on outside of their little world, I think that this is very cool. A perfect example of leveraging eyeballs and a cause. So good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Coke's awesome. I don't drink the products. I don't consume a single Coke product, but I love the company. And I don't know if I've told you. When I was a little bit younger, I climbed. I had this desire to climb as many volcanoes as I could in Indonesia. So I went to Indonesia and I climbed all these volcanoes. And one of them was this one. It was Mount Batur, which is on Bali. And I climbed this. It was amazing. But it was one day. So you get up at the crack of dawn and you climb up this volcano, and it's an inactive volcano, but you climb up this volcano and it takes 3, 4, 5 hours to get up to the top, and then you get up there and you watch the sunrise over it. It's amazing. And I struggled. I'm a fit guy. I struggled to climb up there. I was in Tivas and I'm climbing up this volcano, and I get up to the top, and as I'm racing near the top, this little kid with a basket on his head full of ice cold Cokes, like was basically running up the side of the mountain as I was struggling to catch my breath. And he started 2 hours before or after I did and made it up there in 20 minutes, and he was barefoot. I got up to the top, and he's up there, and then he's selling Cokes for like $5. I'm like, that is the best Coke I've ever had. And
yeah, but what an experience, right? I've done that once in Maui and Haleakala, and I mean it's being up at the top of a volcano like that for sunrise.
Surreal.
It's amazing, right?
Volcanoes.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
That was my last experience with a Coca-Cola, and it was the best Coke moment ever. Anyway, I should have
There you
taken a
go.
picture of it.
All right.
So that's Coca-Cola, positivity wall. Our last story here. I mean, it's all along with these payments and hands-free payments and PayPal. Man, PayPal, a Chief's dark horse for the world's largest company, the biggest company on the planet, is starting to get their stuff together. They released a new version of their application. Now they're talking about this thing called this new hands-free payment system, which is basically exactly as it sounds, right? So this might sound familiar. Square has done this, but this is a piece of hardware, right? That you plug into a retail location. It ties in with the PayPal application and uses a low energy Bluetooth again. And this really does allow you to do as many things as you can. You can do like queueless checkouts. You basically you don't have to stand in line. You just pay. This is where PayPal, it just comes together, and they have the merchants, the partners like Home Depot, and they just announced, I think it was Best Buy, that you can use PayPal to purchase your stuff.
Yep.
And they have the merchants, they have the clout, they have the distribution, they have the infrastructure. Now, they have the dongle like Square. Now, with low battery consumption, they're moving into Squarespace about basically, hands-free payment. I love this.
Sometimes it feels like you're running all day long. And sometimes it's nice to have some help with the little things along the way. The PayPal app with hands-free check-in to pay is designed to help manage the little things so they don't get in your way. It lets you set your preferences so you can automatically check in and pay with PayPal on your mobile device at businesses that you choose. No wallet or cash required. Because the little things can add up when you're on the go. The PayPal app seamlessly connects with the PayPal Beacon, a state-of-the-art low-energy Bluetooth device in your favorite stores that helps you get what you want when you want it. The PayPal app and PayPal Beacon, making hands-free payments a reality. Here's to the little things.
The simplicity of this kind of stuff, I think, is what makes it work, right? So, I mean, you, from the consumer side, it's like check-ins, into a venue. It recognizes, that you're there. Your account profile is connected to your name and your photo. Your photo appears, on this device at the point of sale, and basically the person working at the register basically just taps the photo, and that's it. You're done. You've paid. So as long as they verify that you look like what they're seeing on the screen, it's that simple. You don't have to get out your wallet. You don't have to do anything. So I love this kind of stuff. I think this is a step towards that sort of just automatic payment RFID world that we talked about years and years ago, when RFID was kind of coming out and Walmart was trying to push it into every product. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And PayPal, this is just one of a whole bunch of things in the new app. It's all about location for these guys. They also launched mobile ordering for food as part of this. You can find restaurants around you. Tabbed out kind of scenarios built into this app now, so you can settle your bill at a restaurant at the table, without going anywhere. I mean, all this kind of stuff, in the new app. It's amazing. So love it.
There's a few things that come from this as well. Is that, first of all, they're rolling this out free. Like, so if you're a merchant and you
Yep.
and you can get this device for free. It just plugs into your store. One of the key things that it has to do is it has to tie into your POS, which is it's going to limit the scope of this, but free. So they're seeding this for free, and that's the smart thing to do, as opposed to charging. Like Shopify just came out with their own payments plan a couple of weeks ago, or a payment system as well, but they're charging you for everything. The dongle, they're charging you for the software, not the software, but the setup and the infrastructure, and it's yet another point of sale system. It's not integrating into your point of sale. I mean, that has whole challenges unto it themselves. But here's PayPal that has created the relationships with the merchants, already tied into the POS. Going to plug this in for free, and now you're going to be able to get your customers to check out where they stand and pay where they stand. And I think that this is unbelievable. The other thing is that how does this compete with iBeacon? Very clearly, PayPal doesn't care about the operating system because iBeacon will not translate over to Android. This does, right? So this is the universal piece that is across all platforms, which is what PayPal has to do, right? They just have to do that. So they're talking about working out with some merchants early, for the rest of this year, really rolling this out completely in 2014. And a lot can change between now and 2014, as we've seen in this industry. But you really got to think that this is, a low friction way to get this kind of technology into your store. If you're already part of the PayPal network, if you're already integrated, your POS is integrated to them. I just, what they're doing is astounding. And if I didn't love Amazon so much, I would love PayPal more. How's that, Asif?
Yeah, there you go.
Very cool. Man.
Glad you're seeing the light, Ron. Glad you're seeing the light.
We had a little bit of love in there for Amazon for a little while, right?
We did. I still love Amazon.
But these are two companies that everybody should be watching, and I think that you're starting to see that, Asif. I think your prediction is going to be that maybe in 2014, PayPal actually lines up all the companies that they've acquired in the proper sequence, and it unlocks that golden chalice, so to speak, in this world, because it's bound to happen. Man. All right, so those are the 6 stories. App of the week is Rove, not the Rove that I used to run, but Rove by Zetrip, and at roveapp.com. We had Chuck Martin talking about the cool versus creepy scale. We had our 6 stories. Last piece of business here, buddy. Our resource of the week.
We love these Pew studies when they come out because it gives us that snapshot into the consumer world and use of location. And some interesting numbers in this latest one. 74%, this is U.S. data, 74% of the U.S. population now of 18 and older are using location to get directions or whatever. They're using location. So this is a big number. This data is just being released now, but the study was conducted back in May. That's up from 55% last year, same time last year. So I love how they repeat these studies and we can benchmark one year over the other. One of the interesting notes in this, however, and I think we sort of know this, but now we have data to back it up, is the check-in phenomenon is declining slightly around this. So a year ago it was 18%, check-ins. Now we're at 12%. So it's not about that.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
Checking anymore. Yeah, it is. It isn't. I mean, it's we know that people don't care about checking in. Yeah. They care about things like moves, like Rove. They care about that history of where I've been and what I can do with that. And the data is important. But then the notion of, hey, check in here and get a deal or a coupon or whatever is like a whatever now, right? There's so many other ways to do that, and now the data is supporting that as well.
Yeah, and I think that's I think the check-in is down, but as you said, location use is up, right? So all the metadata, of the stuff that we inadvertently check into, not only just through the apps, like we give express permission to track our whereabouts, but also when you talk about photo usage and all of these different things that have metadata that associate a location with a photo, so the subtle check-in is still there. Right.
Yes.
If you really want, you're leaving a trail wherever you go. So don't.
Yeah, it's that shift from active to passive, right?
Absolutely. One of the stats that I found amazing was that 46%. We always chastise teenagers as saying that they're too expressive, too open, they share too much, they don't really understand what this world of location and social does to their future. And this statistic, I don't know if you thought about it, but 46% of teen app users say they've turned off location tracking on their cell phone or app or phone or tablet because because they were worried about other people or companies being able to access that information.
Yeah, whatever. It's just mom and dad.
Exactly. That's it. It's like, yes, they don't
Yeah.
want anybody knowing where we've been. But
Yeah.
I think that maybe there's there's obviously an awareness. Maybe it starts with mom and dad, but that's a healthy paranoia. Right, and if my kids ever did that, I'd kick their ass. But
there's definitely a trend around that
Yeah.
kind of thing. I mean, look at the success of things like Snapchat, right? I mean, that idea of look, I'm going to take a photo, I'm going to send it, and then that photo's gone. It's disappeared from the world forever, right? Like
in theory, yes.
In theory, right? Yeah, but and obviously it's the teens that are that on kind of a platform. So.
Well, what's staggering is that so maybe they're moving away to a much more anonymous lifestyle that teens are, but that 46% for teens turning it off, it's only 35% of adults that have turned it off. So the adults, I think, are now the laggards when it comes to this kind of stuff. Maybe they don't understand the implications of what it means to be tracked or what location means. But 46% of teens, 35% of adults. So who should be worried about it right now? I think that as adults, we're exposing ourselves a little bit more than our kids, and we're more worried about our kids and their social world than we are of ourselves. So this is a fascinating study. I love these studies by Pew.
Yeah.
They do great work.
Keep it going.
So you can find information. This is going to be up obviously on research, right?
We will have it up.
The lbma.com/research, and you'll be able to find it there.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Right.
And it's
That's
free. It's free.
It's free.
It's a free PDF download. Right? 25 pages.
Another great episode, Rob.
Yeah. Done.
Yes. And I just have to say, Rob, I love doing the show with you every week, and I appreciate all your work on this. And for those who haven't heard, Rob, you've had a really tough few months here. Your mom passed this week, and we're all feeling for you, man. And I know you're just gonna plow yourself into work and. That's going to be your remedy, but just from me personally, as you said, your second longest relationship, Rob. Yes. So
I appreciate the support,
man, and thoughts are with you and the family.
Well, and for those of you wondering, this is I'm wearing a shirt. If you're not watching the video, my mother passed away on Wednesday, and this past Wednesday, 70 years old from cancer. Don't smoke, kids, if you're out there.
Yeah.
We did a trip to Nepal together as a family in the mid to late 80s, and she bought us each one of these shirts. It's what a long strange trip it's been, and these are the Nepalese eyes that you see on all of the temples in Kathmandu and around, and so I'm wearing this. Obviously, this shirt is it still fits. I don't know, maybe it was huge on me when I was 17 or 18 years old, but my mother will be missed. She was a wonderful, wonderful woman, and one of the greatest things that we get from this is. There's nothing great. Trust me, there's nothing great. But the emails and the letters we've received from people around the world who have been touched by my mother and who my mother has helped, helps us ease the pain. Right, we're sharing this loss with a lot of people. So it's been tough, but I appreciate your support. Thanks, Asif. I really do.
No worries, man.
All right, let's end this before I start to cry, buddy.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Episode 147.
Yes, and somewhere along the lines, we're going to get together for episode number 148 next week, and we'll bring that to you. So do not despair. We will continue doing this as long as you listen. And would appreciate it if you just went out and gave us a good review at some point along the way. That's our currency. We'll use it to continue doing these shows for you. So thanks if you were doing that.
Awesome.
We'll see you next week. Thanks, Asif.
See ya. Cheers.